I'm going to say something that sounds controversial in today's legal market. I don't believe in free consultations, at least not the way most criminal defense firms use the phrase. And honestly, I think a lot of people misunderstand what a free consultation actually is. Because if you call a lawyer, ask questions about your case, and get answers from the lawyer or their staff, that is a consultation. So today I want to explain why my criminal defense firm charges for strategy meetings, why I think that's actually better for both the lawyer and the client, and why a lawyer refusing to offer unlimited free meetings is not necessarily a bad sign. For context, I'm specifically talking about criminal defense firms. There are other areas of law where free consultations make perfect sense. For example, personal injury lawyers often work on contingency fees. That means that the client may not pay anything up front and the lawyer gets paid only if money is recovered later. In that kind of arrangement, free consultations are logical because the lawyer is taking on the financial risk of the case. Criminal defense works very differently. In criminal defense, you are hiring someone for their judgment, their time, strategy, experience, and availability from day one. That changes the economics completely. One of the things that frustrates me about the phrase free consultation is that it really has no consistent definition. Some firms mean call us and we'll see if we can help. Some mean come into the office for 15 minutes and we'll decide whether we want your case. Some others mean sit through a sales pitch. And some firms genuinely do spend significant time giving away detailed legal guidance for free. The problem is that all of those things get lumped together under the same marketing phrase. In my office, when someone calls us, we absolutely speak with them. We ask questions, we figure out what's going on, we determine whether we are even the kind of lawyer that they need. And if we're not, we try to point them in the right direction. Frankly, I tell people all the time that the phone call you're on right now, that counts as the free consultation. But at some point, there's a difference between an intake call and an actual strategy discussion. When someone schedules a strategy meeting with my office, they are not paying for a sales pitch. They are paying for actual time, analysis, education, and guidance about a serious legal situation. That meeting often involves reviewing allegations, discussing possible defenses, talking about likely outcomes, explaining court procedure, discussing practical realities, and helping the person understand what they are actually facing. That's real professional work. And honestly, I think pretending otherwise does a disservice to clients. I also think that people sometimes misunderstand the purpose of these meetings. The strategy meeting is not just about whether the client wants to hire me. It's also about whether I believe I'm the right lawyer for that client and that case. I sometimes compare it to a first date. We're deciding whether we want to go steady or not. And in criminal defense, especially, that relationship matters because once a lawyer enters an appearance on your case, that lawyer may be standing beside you during one of the most stressful periods of your life. Now, to be clear, when I first opened my private practice, I didn't charge for these meetings. I thought that was just what lawyers were supposed to do. But over time, I realized something important. Free meetings often create terrible incentives. People schedule them casually, people shop endlessly. People book multiple lawyers at once. And perhaps most frustratingly, people don't show up. And when someone blocks out an hour on your calendar and simply disappears because they had no financial incentive or investment in the meeting, that has real consequences. That's an hour I could have spent preparing for court, speaking with existing clients, reviewing evidence, or frankly, spending time with my family. So eventually I decided that my time has value. One thing I've noticed is that charging for a strategy meeting changes the dynamic in a very important way. It signals seriousness. If someone is willing to invest in sitting down and discussing their situation properly, they're usually much more invested in solving the problem. And importantly, we usually credit the strategy meeting fee toward representation if the person hires us. So this isn't about trying to squeeze money out of people before they become clients. It's about creating a structure that respects everyone's time. Now, I know some lawyers disagree with me on this. I've had colleagues tell me that I could never charge for consultations. And that's fine. The legal profession is interesting because there's very little standardization in how firms operate. Different lawyers structure their businesses differently. But I also think that clients should understand something important. Just because a lawyer is cheaper does not automatically mean that they are the better value. When I quote a fee for criminal cases, I'm thinking about the seriousness of the allegations, the amount of work involved, the complexity of the evidence, the amount of time I expect to spend resolving the case, and the level of attention that the case will require. I'm not pulling numbers out of thin air. And one reason I usually work on flat fees instead of hourly billing is because I don't want clients afraid to communicate with me. I don't want someone sitting there thinking, man, if I text my lawyer, is the meter running? I don't want clients afraid to ask questions. So generally speaking, my clients know the fee up front, and they know I'm not billing them every 6 minutes while their case is pending. That system also creates healthier incentives. My clients don't have to worry that I'm dragging things out unnecessarily to generate more billing. And I have every incentive to work efficiently and effectively. So ultimately, this isn't really a rant about free consultations. It's a conversation about how criminal defense actually works. Serious legal work requires time. It requires judgment. It requires focus. And yes, it requires boundaries. The next time you're looking for a criminal defense lawyer, understand this. A firm refusing to offer unlimited free meetings is not necessarily a red flag. Sometimes it's a sign that the lawyer values their time, protects their attention, and is selective about the cases that they take. And frankly, that may be exactly the kind of lawyer that you want. I'm Joel Chorny. If you have a case that requires the assistance of a criminal defense attorney in Arizona, give me a call. If you have a case that requires the assistance of an attorney, call a lawyer in your jurisdiction. And remember, you have rights. They matter. Protect them. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video.